Then for this kind of webinar, we decided to leave all the question and answer at the end. So basically, you are free to request your question during the presentation of the panelists. Of course, we're going to collect them and answer to them at the end of this event. So basically, it's going to be a little bit different from the first time for the one that attended already the first live session, when we responded to you directly by chat during the live event. This time we're going to collect them and you can respond. We're going to respond directly at the end. And everything that we cannot address in this live meeting is going to be addressed directly on the event chat. I hope that you guys are already familiar with the event chat on Event Tornado. As you can see, we have several support channels. Just please choose the one that you suit the most your request, and everybody's going to answer you there. Here we have the agenda. So basically, as I said before, we have 4 amazing panelists. The first panelist that we have is Pasquale Pagano from CNR-ISTI, and he's going to explain to you how to access and navigate the Blue-Cloud. So basically, the services and the resources that are available for you as a hackathon participant. Then after 20 minutes, we're going to leave the word to Paul Weerheim. He's going to explain you more about the Blue-Cloud data discovery and access services, and again, how to leverage it and make the most of it during the hackathon. After Paul, there is Dominique, and Dominique will talk about the Blue-Cloud virtual labs. So basically what you will find there, how to find all the relevant information and so on. And then the last but not least, of course, Charles Troupin is going to explain how to using the Jupyter notebooks and to process the data within the Blue-Cloud. And as I mentioned before, then in the last 10 minutes, maybe 15, we have the Q&A sessions, and please feel to give us all your question. We're gonna be happy to respond to it. So now I'll leave the word to Pasquale, and he will explain to you how to access and navigate the Blue-Cloud as mentioned before.
Thank you. Let me start sharing. Okay. I think
yes.
That's okay, fine. So welcome everybody. Now we will go through the platform that you may use to perform your activities in this hackathon. So first of all, you can reach bluecloud.d4science.org. That is our platform, and if it is the first time, you can register. When you register, you have the possibility to use one of your existing identity. So you can log in with your academic account of your university or research center. You may also use LinkedIn, Google, Twitter, or GitHub account. In case instead you want to create a new user, you can just click on register and create a new identity. When you enter, this is you see this environment with a lot of different capabilities that were presented in the first live demo, but now we will go very quickly through the different part of this portal. So you see some statistics of your usage of the services. You can improve your profile to let other people to know better who you are by adding your job title, your current position, and so on and so forth. It's really simple. You can go to your profile and edit your profile, and in the top bar you see some common functionality. So the first one that is very important to understand how to use is the workspace. The workspace is an environment that you see clearly it starts empty. So this is like a file system that you may use, to upload your data, to share, everything, your files with your colleagues, with other members of of the hackathon. So you can create a folder, my data, then double click, you enter in the folder, and you can start uploading, for example, your data. Just drag and drop. I'm now uploading 2 archives of Argo data, and very easy. And these are zip files that I uploaded in the in this folder. I can navigate, my folders in this way. This is a private folder so far, so I am the only one that can access, this folder. I can also upload an archive. In this case, I select, on my file system an archive, a zip folder. Let me select one. And the system upload the archive. And I don't know how big is this archive. Maybe, I select one that is too big. Yeah, it's big. So let me, in parallel, I can also upload another archive, something that is smaller. And so the system upload and unarchive, all the data in such a way that I can start using, the content of this archive, immediately in the workspace. You see, this is one of the archive that has been unpacked with all the files that are contained, in the that were included in that zip file. In such a way, I can build on the workspace, the set of data files that I need. And until now, I have only 2 folders that are both, private folders. If I join the Blue-Cloud Hackathon, just one click, I confirm the request and accept the terms of use. I see the environment that I have in the hackathon to perform my job. So in this environment, I can perform a number of activities that you will understand better also today with the other presentations, including, the usage of Jupyter app. I have a number of other functionalities, including RStudio and the analytics engine, and the data discovery and access service that also will be presented today, in the next presentation. If I open one of these environments, like, RStudio, this give me open, RStudio environment. I need to authorize. So this is a new instance of RStudio. What is important to see, this is an environment to implement code in R. What is important to see is that here in RStudio, I have the workspace that I have shown before. And in this workspace, I have the folder that I have created before. So the archive Argo 99, 2017, my data with the data that I uploaded, and the new folder that is called the VRD folder, where I find everything of the environments that I joined. In this moment, I joined only the Blue-Cloud Hackathon. So I find, the Blue-Cloud Hackathon. And in this folder, I can navigate and I can use all the material that have been shared with me as member of this virtual research environment. So if I go back, clearly the same that I have shown you here is also available if I access a Jupyter app as a notebook, or if I access the other services. And if I go back to my workspace, as we have seen, and now I have another folder, you see the icon is a bit different. because this is a shared folder, it's not a private folder. There is a star on the folder, and here I found, the Blue-Cloud Hackathon. And as I have shown you before, there are a number of the content of this hackathon, including, the input data sets that have been shared with you, the video tutorials, and other common useful resources. If I go back, so this is the environment that you may use, but clearly there are a number of demonstrators that also have been present to you. And so you can join, this environment just, clicking on the title. So if I click on zoo and phytoplankton EOV, I again, see the terms of use. I should read the terms of use, but in this moment, we can just confirm the request. And I enter another environment with the documentation of the environment, with the tools that are available in this environment and that I can exploit. And in this case, there is the part on the on the how-tos that explain how to use, the phytoplankton EOV or the zooplankton EOV or the modeling phyto and zooplankton interactions. And the specific services that have been configured to run in this environment. Again, anytime I enter an environment, a new shared area in this environment is created for me. So now if I go back again to the workspace, I see that in my VRE folders, I see two, there is the Blue-Cloud Hackathon, there is also the zoo and phytoplankton EOV with all the material that has been shared in this other environment. Again, when you work in Blue-Cloud, you can also decide to share, something not with all members of a virtual laboratory, but just, with a colleague, with your colleagues. So you can take a folder that you have created and share by right click, and then you decide to share. For example, I can share with my other account. This is my official account with all my data, real data, but I can share with any with the Julia, for example, Vera, and so on. And I can decide the rights. If the people that I'm sharing the folder with can only read this content, can also write, but cannot overwrite the content of other users, or can do everything, so can write and delete the content, the files that are present in the folder. So in this way, this folder that now I'm sharing change again the icon. Now you see three different icons. So these are private folders just for you. These are shared folder with other users that you have selected. These are VRE folders that are shared with all members of the environment. And again, from here, from this environment, you see now also populated this area with the messages. This is because now I am a member of the Blue-Cloud Hackathon and of the zoo and phytoplankton EOV environment. And in this area, I see a summary of all messages that have been exchanged, in these two environments that now I am a member of. And if I join another environment, it will merge automatically all the messages in this area, and I will have another area that I can use, to perform my activities. So in Blue-Cloud, you have, all these demonstrators. That you may use, demonstrator 1, 2, 3, and 5, to perform your activities. You have the Blue-Cloud Hackathon environment where you can process, your data. And you may also, you will have data discovery and access service that will be presented just in a moment. And you may also explore the other open environment, like the island invasive species that are, a demonstrator environment or the Blue-Cloud lab. And I think as introduction, this is just, to start to let you, to navigate in this context. And remember that when you are in an environment, you can always open a support request by click on this label just on the right of the page. So I stop here in such a way that we have time for questions at the end.
Thank you very much, Pasquale. All right. Yes, we had some few questions, but yeah, we're going to collect them and answer to them till the end. I would also like to remind to everyone that this live session is going to be recorded. It's going to be available on the Event Tornado platform in a couple of days, I guess. So I left the link on the chat here, so please free to watch it again in a couple of days. Thank you, Lino, again.
Welcome.
Now we have Paul Weerheim, which is going to explain how to use and make the most out of the Blue-Cloud and Data Discovery Access Service. And I'm going to leave the word to you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was still muted. Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Weerheim, and I will tell you how to use the Blue-Cloud Data Discovery and Access Service today, and to get the most out of it during this hackathon. We can reach the service in two different ways. Either by this Blue-Cloud gateway, we can visit the service here. You'll end up in the search service right away, or you can visit data.bluecloud.org, which will give you an introduction in itself. Once you start reaching the search interface, we have to it asks you to log in. This is important. We have to track where the data is coming from, in this case, and where the data is going. So, and this is not the same account as the Blue-Cloud gateway. This is a Marine ID account. So I'll quickly log in with my own username. The data discovery, the data discovery and access service is a service where you can search for data sets by searching in its metadata. It consists of 2 searchable levels and currently 9 BDI partners, which you can see on the screen here. It's meant to gather data and order it for either download or for use in your virtual research environment. At level 1, which you can see here, you can start searching in the base metadata of the data sets we have gathered to see if there's something that fancies your interests. I, for one, am going to search for Wageningen, a university in the Netherlands, which you can see gives us 22 results in total, 1 from the chemistry partner and 1 from the from the CDataNet partner and some from the Eurobus partner. Today we will look at the level 1 results of CDataNet. I can see some interesting data sets. I can view on a map to look where the data is coming from. For example, this is above the Netherlands. I'll identify it to show some more details of this area or data set. You can go back to this result interface and see more details about it, and the view is abstract. And if you have decided that it's up to your liking, you can go up to level 2, which consists of more granular data specific to the BDI partner. I'll show you more about level 2, but first I'll go into ordering. Once you have reached level 2 and you have found some records, you can order them and put them into your dataset basket. Here we can view the details again. once we have collected some data set, we can also go back to the level 1 and back to the search interface and pick another partner. And we'd like to view the map as well. There's not much difference between the data sets. So pick one and go to level 2, and we'll see that. And here you'll see more details from the same data set. We can honor it over here. And now we have a basket with 2 data sets from 2 different partners. We can go continue and submit the order. We can give our order a name, test demo order. And now it will be processed by the Blue-Cloud. Now this process will take a while. The Blue-Cloud has to, first of all, we have to reach the partners and collect the locations of the data sets, and then we have to move it to the cloud, from which you can download it or use it in the virtual research environment later on. I have ordered some yesterday, which I will be showing soon. But first, I want to explain a little bit more of level 2. And for that, we're going back to the level 1 interface and the first interface. For example, if I didn't search for Wageningen and I just wanted to go, I like AMONet chemistry and I want some data sets from them, we can go to level 2 directly. Level 2 is a more in-depth search engine for every partner we have. We can search for keywords, parameters, and organizations, and free search, and date search, and location search, all in one interface. I want to search this part in the Netherlands, and it only filters down a little bit because this is actually a partner with really big search area or dataset areas. So I'll pick another partner with CDataNet in level 2. I can actually search for the same dataset we viewed last time. And search. I want to view them all. Now are all the points of the datasets here, and we can actually view all those datasets in this area. If you want to order one, we can show its detail. Go to it in the interface, add to our basket, and then we can order it again. Now I ordered something yesterday, and I will show you how you can use this order. You can first of all view your order, obviously. If you want to use the files, you can either download it for local use. This is the metadata. This is a comma separated file. You can use in Excel or read in other programs to explain the metadata that you got. Let me show that to you. For example, this is the metadata of a CDataNet record. And this is the metadata of the AMONet chemistry record that you ordered. And to use the data file itself, you can order it. An order sometimes consists of multiple files. We want to keep the files down to 2 GB. So we try to make as much zip files that will fill up 2 GB and then start another zip file. Here we have 2 datasets, one from CDataNet and one from AMONet chemistry. If we want to use this order, data set order in the virtual research environment, we can push this order to the research environment. Actually, I already did this for this order, so I'll be showing you another order to push to the VRE. You can push this button, and if you're already logged in, it will automatically confirm this order. It will go to your user space, but if you're not logged in, it will ask you to log in, just like Pascal showed you, or Lino showed you in the beginning. Once it is finished, you'll receive an email, and then you can find the data in your workspace. We have a private folder. That's your data pool where the files will be uploaded. And I uploaded, let me check, standing orders, order 521. And here is order 521, which has the same files as I showed you in the zip. Of course, it's not really useful with files of 3 MB, but within the data discovery and access service, we can find files, really large data sets, which are not useful to download onto your own PC if you are going to use them in the cloud. So that's one of the main advantages of pushing your order to the virtual research environment. Once they're in your research environment, you can start using them with other scripts, which will be other tools, which will be explained after me. I think that was the basics of the data discovery and access service. If you have any questions, you can always reach me through the event tornado or paul@maris.nl.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much for sharing this. Once again, if you guys have any question, if you want Paul to answer right after this session, it's possible. Just write it down in the question and answer section, and we're happy to respond. And thank you very much, Pasquale and Paul, for staying on time, because we're in perfect on schedule. The next panelist is Dominique, and she will talk about the Blue-Cloud virtual labs. The word is to you, Dominique.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, good. Thank you, Michele. Hello, everyone. I'm going to give you an overview of the virtual labs that are available for the hackathon. So it's 3 virtual labs that are available in Blue-Cloud now for the hackathon, and they are recalled in the resource kit. So the first one, it's called Zoo and Phytoplankton Essential Ocean Variable Products. And within this virtual lab, there are 3 services. So the first one is Zooplankton Essential Ocean Variable. And it's allow to calculate interpreted maps of zooplankton abundance. And the calculation is done from the minimization of a cost function. So this means that from a sparse data of in situ observation as input, you at the end get 2D interpreted ones. The second service on this VLab is a Phytoplankton Essential Ocean Variable. For this service, the service provides the 3D distribution, gridded distribution of phytoplankton biomass and biodiversity using a machine learning technique. So the input data are in situ and satellite observation. So in situ sparse data and satellite observation, it is a long track data. And at output, you have a 3D distribution of these data. And the third services is Zoo and Phytoplankton Essential Ocean Variable. It's a modeling phyto and zooplankton interaction. And this service provides relative contribution of bottom-up and top-down drivers in phytoplankton dynamic in the water mass, and it is provided thanks to a numerical biological model, a so-called NPZ model, NPZ for nutrient, phytoplankton, and zooplankton numerical model. Then we reach the second VLab with 2 services, and this VLab is on plankton genomics. The first service is entitled Exploring Genetic Data and Identifying Clusters Containing Unknown Genes. This service enables the discovery of the unknown marine plankton genes from annotation files, and then it allows the building of clusters, of gene clusters, by similarities of sequences and larger metabolic pathway. And to do that, the data set that is used is the one that was measured during the Terra Ocean expedition. The second virtual lab of services of this virtual lab is linked to the first one, and it's called Mapping the Geographical Distribution of Plankton Functional Gene Clusters Using Habitat Models. It is linked because it considers as input the output of the previous service. And this service proposes tools to explore the relationship between the abundance of plankton genes and the environmental context. And it is done, this is done thanks to a machine learning method. Then we reach the third VLab that is proposed in Blue-Cloud for the hackathon. This one is, this virtual lab is called Marine Environmental Indicators, and it provides 5 services. 4 of them out of the 5. The prototypes are on the Mediterranean Sea. So the first one is called Marine Environmental Indicator Generator. It is actually a web graphical interface that allows the creation and the display of added value environmental data built from generic ones. So it is the prototype, it provides from, let's say, generic data, average over time of this data, and it can be any physical parameters in the Mediterranean Sea that in the prototype are coming from a numerical model. Then the second service is called the Ocean Pattern Indicator. This service allows building clusters of profiles according to their vertical structures, and it can be, these clusters of profiles can be any oceanographic variable, physical, biogeochemical, gridded, or unstructured or in situ data. It is again on the Mediterranean Sea for the moment, and this calculation, this service is made using a machine learning approach. The first service is similar to this one. It's called Ocean Regime Indicators. So it is based on the same machine learning technique, but the application, it is applied to a data set of ocean time series. So it provides a regime indication. The fourth service, it's called Storm Celerity Index. So it's not anymore from oceanographic data, marine data, but it's wind data, atmospheric wind data that are used. And this index calculates, this service calculates maps and time series of exceptional atmospheric wind circumstances. And it is done with respect to threshold that can be either constant or in percentile. This can be done for a given area and some period to be chosen by the user. And it is on the Mediterranean Sea. The prototype has been developed on the Mediterranean Sea. And the fifth service, it's a simple access to carbon data. So the service shows how to search and retrieve and download subset of pH data through different sources, thanks to AirDAP servers. So the service proposed to merge data from different sources into only one single data set, and then to plot, make different visualization and different provide different resources on these different data sources. So that's it. That's the different services that are available for the hackathon. So it's 3 virtual labs open in Blue-Cloud for the hackathon for the moment. So which means that it's 10 services and very different services all together to play with. To be able to use their virtual labs and these services, and as it was said by Pasquale, you need, showed by Pasquale, you need to register to Blue-Cloud first. The detail and step-by-step guideline of each of these services are described in the handbook. And of course, you will find more information and all the links to the challenges from these services and this VLab to the challenges in the resource kit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dominique, for sharing this. Again, perfect timing also from you. All right, so again, if you have any question, just write it down in the Q&A section. Now it's time for panelist number 4. It's Charles Troupin. He's going to explain how to use Jupyter notebooks to process data within the Blue-Cloud. So the floor is yours, Charles.
Thank you. Okay, I hope you see what you should see. So thanks a lot. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Charles Troupin from the University of Liège in Belgium. And I will try to show you a little bit what we do with Jupyter notebooks. Maybe some of you know what it is or don't know. So it's a nice tool, I think, to program, to create output from data. I'm an oceanographer and a data analyst, and I work essentially, of course, on data from the ocean. So if I go to the web page here, the Blue-Cloud here, how to access the notebooks. There are many ways, but let's say you're on the home page, you go to Zoo Phytoplankton EOV, which is the one which is interested in. And we have here the Jupyter Hub. The Jupyter Hub is a way to launch Jupyter notebooks. I will explain right now what it is, that you can make computation, analysis, visualization, and documentation of what you want to do with the data. So if you click, it takes a few seconds to run the notebook. And I have created a small one just to explain what it is. So basically, a notebook is a document where you have different types of cells. So the plan here is to answer, 3 main questions. What is a notebook? How you will be able to use them if you want in your work? And what can you do in the frame of the hackathon? So if you see here, this is a cell. In fact, I can write anything I want inside. And with this button, you can see it's either a code, Markdown, or raw cell. So the basic 2 types of cell that you will use can be like this one, Markdown. And to run the cell, you have the possibility just to run or to click on the run button, which is this one, of course. So this text cell is directly rendered. I can add equation. And what I like in the notebooks is that it refers to what some people call the data storytelling. So you have data as an input, any kind of data you want to process and create a notebooks. And the notebooks is a nice way to describe how to go from input to output, switching from some text like here, but you can also use some different code cell like this one. I will show you it later. So how to use, first of all, when you create a new notebook, I will show you here, file new, I will create a new notebook. And the thing that will ask me is, what is the kernel that you want? Basically, what is the language that you want? And you will see that the Blue-Cloud colleagues have installed a lot of languages. So have Clojure, Groovy, Java, different version of Julia, Python, etc. So it's really rich. It means you have a lot of languages to play with. Most of the time I play with, I work with Julia and Python, but it really doesn't matter because all the languages are available. Coming back to this one, I have an example of code here that I can run. So it just will create a map with some warning, no problem, a map with the coastline. So it's very easy to add the code from Python, for example. And what we can do in the frame of this hackathon with the notebooks, I mean, it's just one tool among many tools. We like it for several reasons because it tends to, yeah, as I said, tell a story about the data and show how to go from something as you get an input to a final product. And in this case, as presented just before me by Dominique, we have the possibility to create a spatial interpolation of zooplankton data in our case with the neural network technique. I will show you how to get this. So we start again on the starting page of Blue-Cloud. I will try again here. So again, it's not necessary, but if we go again to this one, zooplankton EOV number 1. And I click here, I have the whole documentation, how to perform a specific spatial interpolation using our code. So I won't go into detail, it's quite complex. You have time to read this. It's just one example among many on how to process the data. There are screenshots explaining how you have to do to get the notebooks and to run it, and also to adapt it to the data that you want, because it's shown with some of the data that we have. We provide this data, but of course it's very important using other data source, what you should modify in your code, and how you can really play and get results from this. Coming back to my presentation, I think if you are really interested in notebooks, there are a lot of papers, most of them in the Nature journal that are interesting. First one was probably the first published about that was the 2014, so almost 8 years ago. It was called Interactive Notebooks Sharing the Code. They explained this paper that is a really nice tool between scientists, between experts, to share on one code in one document with all the documentation inside is a notebook. Then 2019, why Jupyter is a data scientist computational notebook of choice. Then other paper followed until last one, 8 May last year, understanding, improving the quality of reproducibility of Jupyter notebooks. So that's one of the main objectives, to get something that is reproducible, getting that, okay, if I give you right now my notebook, would you be able to get exactly the same results as I got before? This is a crucial question for scientists sometimes, and not always the case for users, but I think it's nice. So to close this presentation, I was to show you, to finish with this sentence. They say scientists should write programs for people and not for computers. So maybe you are all not scientists, but you will probably all program. So think about programming for people, for users, to get something useful, and not for the pleasure of programming, even if a lot of people like to program just to program. So don't do it for computers. So that's all I wanted to do and to show you. And will be happy today, will be available today and the other day to reply to any question about notebooks, Julia, and spatial interpolation. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Charles. All right, before starting the question and answer sessions, I'm gonna share with you some more information about the availability of the starter kit. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Very good. All right, so basically there are several resources that you can access. So one of them, of course, is this live session. But of course, in case you missed something or you would like to discover more information, you can always go to the Starter Kit and Resources tab here on the platform. In this tab, we have provided basically 2 documents and a series of videos. The first document is the Starter Kit. So it's very simple. You click here on Starter Kit and you can receive this document, which is basically a summary of all the topics or the agenda of the hackathon, the composition of the deliverables. But more relevant to this live session is the resource kit. The resource kit is a document that all our experts build in these weeks to provide you with information, again, on how to register to the Blue-Cloud, information about the VLabs, useful resources, information about D4 Science, data discovery and access service information. So basically, many topics that we have covered today in this live session. So again, it's very simple. You click here on download the resource kit, and you can download the full documentation. That being said, then again, thank you very much to the experts for the effort, because in these days they recorded a series of video tutorials which are available here again in the Starter Kit and Resources tab. You just scroll down and you have all of this information: the introduction to the Blue-Cloud platform, how to use the Blue-Cloud virtual research environment, data discovery and access service, but then also specific videos about each challenge. So basically here you have all the challenge and topics. You can explore these videos in the next 2 weeks to get well prepared for the hackathon. I'm gonna stop my screen. I'm gonna ask, please, the panelists, if you can start your video so people can see you. And basically, we had some question and answers, if I'm not wrong. And I will ask Hugo if you can moderate this part. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We had very few questions. So guys, right now is the time. You have the experts in front of you. If there were any outstanding questions, there were some stuff that were not clear. Right now is the time to ask them, and they will, of course, try their best to answer you. Perhaps let's go with the questions that were already open, and perhaps some of the experts would like to answer them. We had someone complaining a little bit about the speed of the presentation. Now, regarding that, obviously this is introductory. You have a lot of material that Michele just explained where to find, a lot of video tutorials. So if there's something specific that you would like to know about what has been said today, right now you can pose your question and the questions and answers, please. Then we've got the one important question from Brian Vallejo. So he asked, do we have options to connect to datasets like phytoplankton by API WFS request instead of notebook? Some of the experts would like to answer this question.
All right, I think I'm going to give the word to Belize. If you can, guys, raise your hand again. There you go. Found you, and I'm going to ask you to speak. There you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, well, you can access phytoplankton data, for instance, from EmoNet Biology, or any of all the infrastructures that you can find through the Discovery Data Access that was explained at the beginning. You can access through it. You don't necessarily need to access from only the data that is already in the notebook. So the idea is actually that you explore these notebooks by using other data that you access through the data access service. Does this answer your question? Well, I don't think you can speak.
They can write down in the chat.
Yes, you can bring your own data. As Lino was explaining, you can, once you are in your workspace, you have registered, you're on your workspace, you can completely upload your data. So there is plenty of resources to access data. To access data through the Blue data infrastructures, to access your own data, or to access the data that we have placed in our shared workspace, which at least for our VLab, the zooplankton VLab, This it is on read only mode, and you will have to download to your own workspace. We let it be like this, so changes cannot be done. So you cannot change things that are very important.
Fabulous. All right, let's move on. We have a couple of other questions, actually 3. Elizabeth asked first, but she did via the chat. So guys, if you can answer via the Q&A, it would be great. So Elizabeth Kubin asks, can we bring our own data? Is that possible, guys?
I can take this one, Hugo.
Yeah.
Yes, you can bring your own data. You can access even through the workspace, through the APIs, if you wish. So you can, if you have data that you need to process, you can upload on the workspace and then use either, the APIs or the other facilities that we have presented, like the notebooks, to access and process those data sets.
Great. Perfect. Hope that answers your question, Elizabeth. Then we have Kadir, and yes, thank you. You're welcome. He asked, is there any chance to increase computing power for notebooks in D4Science platform, RAM, etc.?
I mean, the ones that you see, yes, I mean, in D4Science in general, we can offer, notebooks with additional power. In Blue-Cloud, we have decided, to limit, the usage to the different, servers that we have seen. So up to 62 gigabytes of RAM per notebook.
Fantastic. I hope, Kadir, that answers your question. Yes. I think then we've got another questions from Ines. It's been responded right now via the chat, but she asked, to which database should we go in data discovery service to access maps or farm locations in the Mediterranean? Yeah. I don't know if one of the experts would like to answer this one. I think it has been answered anyway, but yes. So to which databases should we go in data discovery service to access maps or farm locations in the Mediterranean?
Actually, I believe that one is available in the resource kit and not through the data discovery and access service. So this one is provided in the resource kit for the Blue-Cloud Hackathon.
Very well. Okay, we have no other open questions. I don't know if you guys have something else to share. Right now is the right moment to ask anything to the experts, guys.
I think that we have a question in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a couple more. Do you have postdoctoral research programs?
All right, being answered directly on the chat.
Okay, a couple more questions in the Q&A. Is the plankton?
I mean, it depends on them. Let me say, not as a Blue-Cloud, but for example, at CNR, we have a postdoctoral research positions open, in the areas related to, to Blue-Cloud.
We have a couple more. One is being answered via the chat. The other one I'll ask it right here. Maria asked, when will the plankton genomics data be shared? Is any of the experts would like to answer this one? Julia?
Yes. Julia, I
Yes.
think that you're,
yes,
you're able
yes,
to speak.
sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes.
But just to say that there's a specific video tutorial that's looking into the contents of this virtual research and of this VLab specifically. But also you might find it useful to join us next Monday when we will have the lead mentors for each of the challenges, and they will also be not going very deep into the contents of each of the VLabs, but certainly providing an overview of what's available in each of them that could be useful to address the challenges. So I would say first watch the video tutorial, because I'm sure you will find it very, very useful. There's a lot of very specific information as well as to what's inside that VLab in the user's handbook that you will find in the resource kit that has been shared today. And if you basically look through those contents and come ready with the specific questions on Monday, I'm sure you'll be able to get useful insights from the mentors who will be joining.
That's great. You are currently actually answering another question, I believe, Julia, in the chat, but yeah, we can answer there. If there's any other questions, guys, right now is your chance.
Ugo, I believe that there is a question from Rui in the chat.
On the chat, that's right.
That I can take. So any folder you create is private, but then you can share. So I think Google Drive with other users. And so you can add other teammates, but they need to be already user of a Blue-Cloud. So you should invite, your teammates to become, Blue-Cloud users, and then you can share any private folder with them.
Great. Thank you. Again, guys, if you have any other questions, right now is your chance.
I think that Hugo, we can wrap it up, and yeah,
very well.
as mentioned, it's the session is almost over. But as mentioned, you can go to Web Tornado after in the next days. Also, you have several channels there where you can request your help. So here, just to wrap it up, I'm going to share my screen again. So what's next? The next session, as Julia just mentioned, is going to be all about the challenges, the ocean challenges that we're going to address in this hackathon. It's going to be on Monday. It's going to be 2 hours, starting at 4 p.m. And then you guys receive all the invitation to the other live sessions with all the details that you can find in your calendar. So basically, you already understood that it's Monday and each Friday. And yeah, so after this, I would like to thank you all. Thank you very much, especially to the panelists. They are the people that are putting this data together and making a lot of efforts to make these things way easier for you to run this hackathon. We're going to be there for you always. The mentors are going to be there. Don't be shy. Ask questions on the Event Tornado chat, also by email if you prefer, but better in the Event Tornado chat. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for participating, and it's been a pleasure being with you today. Thank you very much to each one of you.